You're challenging the most powerful Democrat in Congress. So what was it about Nancy Pelosi and what she's been up to over the past few years that felt that you needed to launch this challenge against her?
Well, I certainly have thought about it for some time, and this would appear to be her last run. And if you wanted to provide a stark contrast between the new ideas of the Democratic Party and the corporate establishment, this was the chance for that. On the issues that I raised in the beginning, Nancy Pelosi is, in my mind, not only wrong, but not representative of her district. Specifically on Medicare for all, I've been in this district since 1994. And when I got here, the first thing I worked on was Proposition 186, which would have created a single-payer healthcare system for the state of California. To say that we were ahead of our time is a bit of an understatement. We carried only one county in all of the 58 in California, and that was San Francisco. So her constituents have been on record for 25 years for supporting a single-payer system, and she has never seen fit to file the federal bill.
I think that is a great point. I'm also curious, one of the ways that I try to get a read for how serious people are taking their primary challengers is if they change on things, if they start to change their rhetoric, change their policies while they're facing the challenges. And we know that just about a week and a half ago, Nancy Pelosi, who'd been dead set against impeaching the president, now she's supposedly gung-ho for it. Some people have said that it's because she's facing so many strong challengers in this primary. Do you think that that's a likely explanation for her new behavior?
It's possible. I don't necessarily overstate the impact we're having on it. What I noticed, however, was she was pretty quick to jump on Trump for sending troops to Saudi Arabia. I was pleasantly surprised by that because one of the more recent international issues, Venezuela, she jumped right in on the same side with him. So we like to think we're having influence in these things. I don't know, but I was certainly pleased to see that kind of change.
And if you're going to have an influence, those are some good policies to influence her on. One more question. So I believe at this point there's 5 candidates in the primary. So we've been talking about differentiating you from Nancy Pelosi. What is it that you're going to use to differentiate yourself before you get to that point against the other challengers to Nancy Pelosi? What do you see as your strengths in comparison to them?
Well, I have done this before. As I've mentioned in passing, I have held public office. I have knocked on thousands of doors. I've actually probably hit about 2,000 in this race already. I have been able to explain complicated issues, sometimes considered radical issues, to people on the street who not particularly interested in hearing your overall analysis of the world at any given point, but they are interested in seeing how it plays out for an issue that they do know and care about.
Well, Tom Gallagher, challenger in the 12th district against the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. Thank you so much for joining us and talking a little bit about what you're bringing to this race.
Thank you for having me.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.